Celebrating a victory Monday with our Cowboys insider, Ed Werder. And Ed, I think it's safe to say this is a win that Dallas definitely needed. They get some style points in this one. You know that Washington was banged up, though. How much should Cowboys take away from this victory?
Well, maybe we should take Dallas more seriously and Washington less seriously. The Cowboys, amazing. They began the season third in the division because both Philadelphia and Washington played the NFC Championship game last year, which the Cowboys haven't reached in 30 years, longest stretch in the NFC. But now they've ascended into second place in the division behind the Super Bowl champion Eagles. Dallas has scored at least 40 points in all three of their home games. That's the most in the NFL, the most for the Cowboys through 7 games since 1973, Roger Staubach era teams. So pretty remarkable that way. And yesterday, they reached 40 without requiring overtime to do so. In fact, they had 40 points by the end of the third quarter.
It was impressive. Not surprising, though, on the offensive side of the football. I think the defensive side is really where folks had their heads turned. And Jerry Jones addressed that after the game, the big performance from the Dallas team. Now, we know Washington shorthanded on offense, but I felt like you saw some intangibles that give Cowboys fans some hope about this defense. Yeah,
Washington was down its top 3 receivers. But Jerry Jones, I walked him from his media briefing outside the locker room to down the corridor to the elevator leading him back to his suite at the stadium, and he made a big point of how this validates Brian Schottenheimer as a first-time head coach. And, of course, that reflects positively on the guy who hired him, which is Jerry, right?
Yeah.
But he was making the point that, in addition, he's a head coach for the first time, so he's responsible for the entire team. Yet he's also spending every week game planning. Mm-hmm. He calls the plays during the game. He comes up with a script for the early possessions. But he also spent an enormous amount of time this week with the defense, with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus, because they're the worst defense in football. And yesterday they took advantage of the fact that Washington didn't have their top 3 receivers. They played 59% man coverage, which is the highest they've played in any game this year, something the players have been requesting that the Cowboys attempt to try. They've been playing zone at 86%. That's the highest in the NFL. Yesterday they get the pick 6 from Deron Bland. Big contribution from the defense, 4 sacks, a defensive touchdown, another takeaway to set up points. They've only got 5 takeaways this season on defense, but they've scored after all of those.
Well, and when you keep doing what you're doing, you keep getting what you're getting. That's the saying. Well, the Cowboys mixed it up and it worked out for them yesterday. But on the offensive side of the football, really complimentary. Dak Prescott has been playing at a high level for a while now. Want to share some numbers. 71% of his passes, 16 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He told the broadcast crew before the game his confidence was sky high, and it certainly looked like it.
Yeah, to put it in perspective further, he's got 4 straight games where he's thrown 3 touchdown passes without an interception. Mm-hmm. Only Russell Wilson has done it more times. He's done it 5 times. That's the most in NFL history. Among the guys who have done it 4 times, as we saw from Dak, look at this list. You got Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady. That's it. That's the level at which Dak Prescott is playing right now. And when Brian Schottenheimer took over the offensive play calling and became the head coach, one of the things he talked about was creating more explosive plays. Well, Dallas went into the game yesterday against Washington with the most explosive plays. That's a play of over 25 yards, run or pass. They had 20 of those, 4 more than anybody else. Now you add CeeDee Lamb's 74-yard touchdown. Pickens had a 44-yard catch. Javonte Williams had a 33-yard run. So it's a really explosive offense. They've surrounded Dak Prescott with some great weapons, signing Javonte Williams to be their starting running back and making the trade for George Pickens.
Well, those Pickens numbers as well. He's got 86 yards per game. CeeDee Lamb's got 111 yards per game. Just that duo alone certainly making Dak's job easier. But going back to the defensive side of the football, no Trevon Diggs yesterday. A big story at the end of the week. He had a concussion at home. Do not know many details about that happened. The team was kind of cagey about it. What does this mean for his time on the team and his future in Dallas?
Well, it's been an interesting, tension-filled season for Trevon Diggs. And this mysterious concussion, which he reported on Friday when he went to the team facility, their final day of preparation, was put in the concussion protocol. So now he's got to clear that before he's eligible to play again. But spoke to Jerry about it. He said there's no long-term implications from this, that once Diggs is medically cleared to play as soon as this week is what Jerry expects, that he'll be back on the field. He did get his game check yesterday, so it seems things are okay, but this concussion remains unexplained, which is odd for a player to have a concussion at home, report to the facility with the team doctors, and then have to miss a game. And he had to miss a game where he's been the one advocating for playing man coverage. They commit in the middle of the week to play more man coverage, and then he's not in the game.
Well, when he is at his best, he can be really good. Certainly some question marks there, and big question marks Bucs as you get set to ride into Denver, a mile-high game, a big test for this team. But you can talk with us about it. Our call-in show coming your way later on today at 11:30. Ed Werder, I would love just one time for you to sneak a call in.
Oh, I'll write the number down and maybe try it out.
I would enjoy it. You can join him. Hey, Ed, thanks as always, and want to hear from you at 11:30 right after midday for the call-in show on a Victory Monday, Kara.